Hi everyone, this is Sister Levi. I'm just going to show you a quick book haul that I got today. I got 10 books from a thrift store in my town and 2 at a local small department store in my town. The books at the thrift store were 45 cents a piece, plus you got a discount on top of that. And the 2 from the department store are hardcover, brand new, and they were $1 a piece. So I'm just going to go through them and show you what I got. The first one is A Wind in the Door by Madeline L'Engle. It says, as she does in A Wrinkle in Time, Madeline mixes classical theology, contemporary family life, and futuristic science fiction to make a completely convincing tale that should put under its spell both readers familiar with the Murrays and those meeting them for the first time. And a very interesting cover. This creature has many eyes, and it's just very interesting. Second book I got, The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Beautiful cover on this book. There's the Aslan, the lion. Narnia. They open a door and enter a world. Narnia, a land frozen in eternal winter, a country waiting to be set free. 4 adventurers step through a wardrobe door and into the land of Narnia, a land enslaved by the power of the White Witch. But when almost all hope is lost, the return of the great lion, Aslan, signals a great change and a great sacrifice. So again, a beautiful cover. I love the haunting look up there, the girl in the top above the cathedral. Very pretty. This one is by Malika Alfakir. Freedom, the story of my second life. Ever charming and gracious. She is a delight to spend time with. She was the original author of Stolen Lives. And it says, Stolen Lives, her intensely moving account of her 20-year imprisonment in a desert jail in Morocco was a surprise international bestseller translated into 26 languages. In Freedom, her eagerly anticipated follow-up, she reflects on her life before her cruel incarceration and the dramatic change in the world she discovered when she emerged. Her childhood was a storybook fantasy reared in the palace alongside the king's daughter. She enjoyed unfathomable luxury and privilege. In 1972, her father was summarily executed for attempting to assassinate the despot, and she was locked away with her mother and siblings, who ranged in age from 19 to 3 years old. After a harrowing escape, Malika and her family returned to reclaim their lost lives. She writes candidly about adjusting to this new world, from navigating ATMs to the excesses of shopping malls to falling in love. She moves to Paris to begin a new life with her beloved husband, Eric. Together they adopt a child, fulfilling her lifelong dream of becoming a mother. Her long-term deprivation has given her a rare perspective on both her native country and the West, a hard-won wisdom and a keen sense of the ridiculous, written with humor and accuracy. This is a mesmerizing survival story. So this one looks very interesting, and it's called Freedom, the story of my second life. This one is The Complete Short Stories of D.H. Lawrence, Volume 1. It was a Viking book, and I like the cover on that. Very vintage. It says, in the judgment of many, Lawrence's expansive genius found its happiest expression within disciplined limits, for in his short stories and short novels, his powers are never weakened by repetitions which mar some of his longer works. As a short story writer, Lawrence is at his best and was unexcelled. And this one contains the following stories: A Modern Lover, The Old Adam, Her Turn, Strike Pay, The Witch a la Mode, New Even Old Adam, The Prussian Officer, Daughters of the Vicar, The Thorn in the Flesh, A Fragment of Stained Glass, The Shades of Spring, Second Best, The Shadow in the Rose Garden, Goose Fair, The White Stocking, A Sick Collier, and The Christening. So again, it's a beautiful little book, and at the thrift store. I thought that was very nice. The Complete Short Stories, D.H. Lawrence. The next one is Volume 1 of the Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. This is a beautiful cover. It's set in Canada. She'll have to go back. Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert had decided to adopt an orphan. They wanted a nice, sturdy boy to help Matthew with the farm chores. The orphanage sends a girl instead, a mischievous, talkative redhead who the Cuthberts are sure will be of no use at all. But as soon as Anne arrives at the snug white farmhouse called Green Gables, she knows she wants to stay forever, and the longer Anne stays, the harder it is for anyone to imagine Green Gables without her. And it says the Anne books, delightful, unpredictable Anne Shirley has been charming readers of all ages in every part of the world for more than 3/4 of a century. Bestsellers from the moment they were published, the Anne of Green Gables novels have allowed generations of children to grow up right along with Anne. And that's just a very pretty and a very sweet book. And I like the cover on it. Very pretty. The Worshipful Lucia, Part 5, Make Way for Lucia, by E.F. Benson. Love the cover on this one. It says, in these daring and extravagant adventures, Lucia meets head-on, at the peak of her irresistible powers, her arch-rival Elizabeth Mapp. On the perilous tightrope of high finance, on the trail of treasured antiques buried beneath her country garden, on the threshold of consummating the most exquisite love affair of all literature with a marriage that only she could conceive, never has Lucia been caught up in such extravagant adventures, and never has she been in more irresistible form. Benson has created a small-scale world that is a pleasure to enter. More than 50 years after the first of them appeared, these books are fresh and funny. Benson was at least mildly infected by genius. And again, The Worshipful Lucia, Part 5, Make Way for Lucia. This one I got, it's not a novel, but it just looked very interesting. Secrets of the Face, The Amazing Chinese Way of Reading Faces by Leilan Young. It just gives, it's an older book, and it says faces tell all, learn to read them and know if those you meet are trustworthy, sensuous, jealous, kind, generous. Get to know people without even talking to them by reading their faces. And it's really interesting. She's got lots of pictures in here, ways you can read how people look. Princess Di. Yeah, so I thought that was very interesting. This one is called A Girl Named Zippy, Growing Up Small in Moreland, Indiana, by Haven Kimmel. I like this because it looks like a very nice, pleasant book. It says it offers a rare and welcome treat, a memoir of a happy childhood. Almost dreamlike in some of her elusive storytelling, Kimmel pulls off a feat that's harder than it looks, right for adults from a child's perspective. Zippy's parents must have done something right to produce a girl who could write such a simple and lovely book. It says, when Haven Kimmel was born in 1965, Moreland, Indiana was a sleepy little hamlet of 300 people, nicknamed Zippy for the way she would bolt around the house. This little girl was possessed of big eyes and even bigger ears. In this witty and lovingly told memoir, Kimmel takes readers back to a time when small-town America was caught in the amber of the innocent post-war period. People helped their neighbors, went to church on Sunday, and kept barnyard animals in their backyards. Laced with fine storytelling, sharp wit, dead-on observations, and moments of sheer joy, Haven Kimmel's straight-shooting portrait of her childhood gives us a heroine who is wonderfully sweet and sly as she navigates the quirky adult world that surrounds Zippy. So it said this is a funny book, and I think that will be interesting. This is by Lawrence Yep, and it's called Dragon Wings, a 25th anniversary edition. Very pretty cover on this one. And it says, Moonshadow was 8 years old when he sailed from China to join his father, Wind Rider, in America. For years, Wind Rider had lived in San Francisco and made his living doing laundry. Father and son had never met. But over time, Moonshadow grows to love and respect his father and to believe in his wonderful dream, and Wind Rider, with Moonshadow's help, is willing to endure the mockery of the other Chinese, the poverty, the separation from his wife and country, even the great earthquake, to make his dream come true. And that's the cover, called Dragon Wings. The next one, Whitbread Book of the Year, Behind the Scenes at the Museum. It is by Kate Atkinson, a national bestseller. Let's see what it's about. Ruby Lennox begins narrating her own life at the moment of her conception, and it is from there she takes the reader on a whirlwind tour of the 20th century as seen through the eyes of a girl determined to learn more about her family and the secrets it keeps. Kate Atkinson's dazzling first novel, named the 1995 Whitbread Book of the Year in England, is a darkly comic, deeply moving story of family heartbreak and happiness. And then the two hardcover books I got for $1 at my local little department store is called 2 Cents Plain, right there. 2 Cents Plain, My Brooklyn Boyhood. And it is a graphic novel. And it said it's his bittersweet graphic novel, memoir, 2 Cents Plain, collects the memories and artifacts of the author's childhood in Brooklyn. The son of Holocaust survivors, Lemelman grew up in the back of his family's candy store in Brownsville during the 1950s, 60s, as the neighborhood and much of the city moved into a period of deep decline. In 2 Cents Plain, Lemelman pieces together the fragments of his past in an effort to come to terms with a childhood that was marked by struggle both inside and outside of the home. But his was not a childhood wholly without its pleasures. Lemelman's Brooklyn is also the nostalgic place of egg creams and comic books, malteds, and novelty toys, where the voices of Brownsville's denizens, the deli men, the fish man, and the fruit man all come to vivid life. Between the lingering strains of the Holocaust and the increasing violence on the city's streets, 2 Cents Plain reaches its dramatic climax in 1968 as Lemelman's worlds explode, forcing his family to recreate their lives yet again. Through his stirring narrative and richly rendered black and white drawings, family photographs, documents, and found objects, Lemelman creates a lush, layered view of a long-lost time and place, the chronicle of a family and a city in crisis. And yeah, it's drawings, and it's also photographs of family, and it just looks very interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one, and that was a $1 bargain book, so very tickled with that one. And then this is Then Again by Diane Keaton, and it's a memoir, but it's a memoir of her mother, because her mother, I guess, kept many journals through the years. And this is what she wrote. Mom loved adages, quotes, slogans. There was always little reminders posted on the kitchen wall. For example, the word think. I found think thumbtacked on a bulletin board in her dark room. I saw it scotch taped on a pencil box she'd collaged. I even found a pamphlet titled Think on her bedside table. Mom liked to think. So begins Diane Keaton's unforgettable memoir about her mother and herself. In it you will meet the woman known to tens of millions as Annie Hall, but you will also meet and fall in love with her mother, the loving, complicated, always thinking Dorothy Hall. To write about herself, Diane realized she had to write about her mother too, and how their bond came to define both their lives. In a remarkable act of creation, Diane not only reveals herself to us, she also lets us meet in intimate detail her mother. Over the course of her life, Dorothy kept 85 journals, literally thousands of pages, in which she wrote about her marriage, her children, and most probingly herself. Dorothy also recorded memorable stories about Diane's grandparents. Diane has sorted through these pages to paint an unflinching portrait of her mother, a woman restless with intellectual and creative energy, struggling to find an outlet for her talents, as well as her entire family, recounting a story that spans 4 generations and nearly 100 years. More than an autobiography of a legendary actress, Then Again is a book about a very American family with very American dreams. Diane will remind you of yourself, and her bonds with her family will remind you of your own relationships with those you love the most. And it's called Then Again by Diane Keaton. So that is my latest book haul, and I'm looking forward to starting some of those soon. And thank you very much, and I hope that maybe some of them piqued your interest and you would like to find those books for yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye.